Oh, look. So Iowa's jumping into this now. Let's go take a look. Fake service dogs, a crime under Iowa Senate bill. Iowans could be charged with a crime if they intentionally misrepresent an animal as a service dog or service dog in training under a bill passed Wednesday by the Iowa Senate. Senate File 2365 was approved 49-0, sending it to the Iowa House, where policy issues with service animals are also being discussed. A violation under the Senate bill would be a simple misdemeanor, punishable by up to 30 days in jail and a fine. Senator Dan Dawson, Council Bluffs, said the legislation was introduced in response to concerns raised by military veterans with highly trained service dogs. But he said the discussion has since been broadened to include animals for people with many types of disabilities, ranging from blindness to epilepsy. Veterans brought this forward saying, "Can you please help us?" Dawson said in an interview. Then we started delving into it further and talked with landlords and things like that. And we understand that there is a bigger problem out there. One of the problems being encountered by some veterans with post-traumatic stress disorder is that when they venture out into public, their service dogs have been attacked by untrained companion animals, Dawson said. He said there have also been cases of people going online and purchasing dog harnesses and certificates that identify their untrained dogs as service dogs in an effort to manipulate the system. Dawson said the Senate bill tries to mirror federal law regarding the definitions of service dogs and companion animals. Although the bill establishes a new crime, it sets forth criteria that must occur for a crime to be committed. This list would include intentional misrepresentation for the purposes of obtaining rights or privileges, having been previously given a written or verbal warning that it is illegal to intentionally misrepresent an animal as a service animal or service animal in training, and that the person knows that the animal is not a service animal or a service animal in training. One of the goals of the legislation is to have the Iowa Attorney General's office work with the Iowa Civil Rights Commission to develop a form so that when someone is with a practitioner for a disability diagnosis, it can be determined whether the disability requires having a companion animal. That scenario is sometimes an issue with housing, Dawson said. A standardized form would help guide people through the process, but it's not mandated by the FHA. But the bill Senate advancing through the legislature is likely just the start of a conversation on issue of service animals, Dawson said. This is going to be a multi-year process to try to get our hands around this situation, he remarked. This is going to help our veterans as well as our disabled. I don't even know how this is going to help. You have to be able to ask questions and get documentation to prove the dog is a service dog or an ASA or not. Under federal law, you can't ask about the service dogs. You could ask about the ASAs. There's no law prohibiting that. So you could ask, but if they designate it as a service dog, then you're not going to be able to ask. How are you going to figure out if they're for real or not? So once again, it's another law passed by a state that's blocked by the ADA, and it isn't really going to do any good unless we're talking they catch them misbehaving. And even then it's going to be difficult. So I fail to see the purpose. However, more and more states are doing this. They're jumping into this. That ought to tell us something. Anyway, I thought you guys find this interesting. Till next video, bye.